Hey everyone, Harrison101 back at it once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome to episode 2 of The Online Racer. Me playing Formula 1 2012 online, as well as some other things that could pop up in news in terms of Formula 1 news, Formula 1 2012 news, or anything else I need to get off my chest. I can take place in The Online Racer. And of course, for those who are dedicated F1 fans, you should already know this news, but if not, here it is. Lewis Hamilton has officially signed a 3-year deal with the Mercedes Formula 1 team for the 2013 season, replacing Michael Schumacher, and as a result of this, Sergio Perez will be signing with McLaren for the 2013 season and onwards. Now, that might be a lot to digest for some of you hardcore McLaren fans out there, but let me break this down here for you, and what I think of this situation, because there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, we have to give Eddie Jordan his props. He was the first guy to break this story. It was before Singapore he broke this story out, and people were talking about it. And it finally came through late last night, something like 2 in the morning, where I think it was a journalist or correspondent for the Daily Telegraph was the first guy to break the news that, yeah, it's a done deal. That was about 2 in the morning. Here's how I see it. I'm not the biggest Lewis Hamilton fan in the world. People who know me well know this. I think he's a bit arrogant. And I think he's still a bit of a, he thinks like a 12-year-old kid sometimes. And I always thought, the moment this rumour popped up, I thought, yeah, it's going to happen. You know why? Because Mercedes can offer things that McLaren can't. I mean, Mercedes made a massive deal about having Hamilton when they were still working with McLaren back in, I think it was 2007, when it was him and Fernando Alonso, the dream team, and they were putting him on adverts. They were doing a lot of corporate work, and now it doesn't happen so much anymore. Now it's just McLaren. I don't think McLaren are that kind of team. Mercedes have the brand and the money to make Lewis Hamilton a megastar. They can make him the face of a global brand. I mean, Mercedes-Benz is one of the biggest car manufacturers in the world. He's lined himself up with an engine manufacturer when that happens, when the rules change next year, or it's the season after, I can't remember for sure. But I wrote a blog about this the other day on my Tumblr website, and I thought that he was hedging his bets for more money the moment this deal came out, and the fact he had two of us on the table for such a long time. I always said that if Lewis Hamilton was really that loyal to McLaren, he would have signed the deal the moment a contract was put in his face. He didn't. He was hedging his bets, and clearly he thinks the grass is greener elsewhere. Otherwise, he wouldn't. He wouldn't sign the Mercedes. And the Silver Arrows are they're a cool team. Ross Brawn is a fantastic race manager. We've seen this time and time again with Schumacher over the years. But I've always seen Hamilton as the kind of guy who, he's like one of those excited kids who likes the bright new toy he gets with his Happy Meal. He loves the glitz and glamour and the financial, benefits that come with being in his position and being a man, one of the elite drivers in this sport. He lives in Switzerland to avoid taxes. He's had crystals embedded in his helmets in the past, like at Monaco. I think it was in 2009, the year after he won the world title. He has an extremely popular, high-class social girlfriend in Nicole Scherzinger, the former Pussycat Doll. And, well, that's going through a bit of controversy right now, because apparently she's been kissing up with Chris Brown. Whoopsie. Clearly, if he wasn't signing that McLaren deal, he wanted some form of extra money or extra bargaining. I mean, goodness only knows what kind of money he's going to be getting now he's at the Mercedes team. It's a bit of a slap in the face to the McLaren team, who spoon-fed him for the last, 17 years now? I mean, since he was 10, since he was karting, Ron Dennis has had his eye on him, and they've raised him to be this eventual, prodigal son of McLaren, the golden boy, and that's been the case for the last, 4 or 5 years now. But obviously now, Hamilton thinks now's the time to move on. He thinks the grass is greener elsewhere. And like I said, I think Mercedes can make Hamilton a brand, and I think that's what he wants to be more than anything else. I think he wants to be a brand. Something, he can put his face on everything. Kind of like, how he loves people like Jay-Z, those guys, these musicians who make mega money by associating themselves with everything. I think that's what Hamilton wants to be. He's still a young man, he's only 27. and he's still one of the younger guys in the sport. I mean, why not take the opportunity? You know, all the monetary gains and marketing that comes with that. So you know, why not? In my opinion, I don't think Lewis was ever going to turn that kind of opportunity down. You know, the idea of being able to turn a mid-card team into a race winner, though, that's the only issue I have with this deal, is that so many times people have tried to move down the pecking order to try and bring another team up. I mean, Valentino Rossi in MotoGP did that by going to Ducati from leaving Fiat Yamaha. Didn't work out. Michael Schumacher retired from Formula 1 but came back with the lesser Mercedes team. Didn't work out, clearly, because they're gonna let him go. So obviously something wasn't right from that standpoint. The Schumacher experiment ultimately was a failure, in my opinion, because, you know, Schumacher's the best, but Schumacher didn't get the best out of that team. Simple as that. I mean, Mercedes have won one race since returning to the sport. That was Nico Rosberg in Shanghai this year, and that's Rosberg. Rosberg's the better prospect. He's the better. I'm not saying he's the better driver, but he clearly knows the system better, and he gets the best out of the car and the resources that are available to them. So right now, I think keeping Rosberg is the smarter bet. Talking about this from the other end, how about Sergio Perez? I mean, Sergio Perez I think is a blue chip talent. He is a phenomenal talent for Sergio Perez. I am a massive fan of his ability. But people aren't going to talk about this so much because Perez is not a Hamilton, he's not a big name draw. Formula 1 has a massive British audience, and they're going to talk about Lewis Hamilton because he's the British boy. You know, well, one of the British boys besides, you know, Jenson Button, obviously. But Sergio Perez going to McLaren is huge. He's only been in the sport for 2 seasons, and he's already getting a seat with one of the best teams out there, one of the biggest teams out there. McLaren are perennial championship contenders every season without fail. Before any season starts, you put McLaren as one of the favourites, period. And that's what's going to happen again. And Sergio Perez has the raw talent to win races, and he's nearly done that 2 or 3 times this season in a Sauber. How good is he going to be in a McLaren? I mean, he's always shown he's had the raw pace, but he's a more calculating driver. I mean, you don't want to compare him to Pastor Maldonado, but he's another guy, as a young guy in this sport, who's shown he's got the pace to mess around with the big boys. But Perez has had a better stretch of results, and he's the kind of kid who I think deserves this kind of opportunity. He's earned it, for sure. Sergio Perez, in my opinion, is immediately a championship contender for 2013 before he even puts a foot in the seat. He's going to challenge Jenson Button, he's going to challenge the other guys around him, and I think he's going to be amazing. And I'm just seeing tweets right now on my timeline, Jenson Button saying, "Welcome Sergio Perez," and you're seeing Sergio Perez tweeting, "I want to thank the Sauber team a lot for the chance they gave me to be a Formula 1 driver," and you know, it's a massive deal. I mean, to have a blue chip 22-year-old talent like Sergio Perez on that team is huge for McLaren. I think he's going to be a massive star. I'm a massive fan of his ability, and I think a lot of people in Formula 1 are as well. So you know, it's massive. What else can I really say? Besides that, is just there's probably going to be a massive driver reshuffling coming up in the very near future. I mean, this is only the start. That was one of the house of cards holding up a possible massive driver reshuffle. One of the house of cards was Massa leaving Ferrari. The other one was Michael Schumacher flat out retiring. But what's happened is that obviously Hamilton's gone the other way now. Is Schumacher going to be picked up by Ferrari or by another team? I mean, Schumacher's a hell of a talent. We all know how good he is. He's one of the greatest to ever grace the sport. Many argue he is the greatest to ever grace the sport. Will somebody give him another chance? Red Bull's locked out. Will Ferrari afford to be able to run? Will Schumacher like being the number 2 for Fernando Alonso? I mean, there's a lot of question marks there, but obviously there's going to be a reshuffle somewhere because then there's now a free seat at Sauber. Someone will have to go into that seat. Obviously, more news will come out as we get it in the future. But it's going to be a very exciting time for Formula 1 right now. There's going to be a lot of reshuffling. There's going to be a lot of drivers in other seats. It's an exciting time. So, you know, obviously I can't wait for things like that to happen. It's going to be fantastic. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of the Online Racer. My next video, 2 massive announcements about 1, my video making future, and 2, the team I'll be choosing for career mode. If you haven't seen it already on my Facebook and Twitter pages, stay tuned. It's coming very soon and it's going to affect all of you. I might have that video out tomorrow, who knows, we'll have to wait and see. But until then, I've been Harrison101. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all next time. Sayonara.